So why exactly do you want to do marketing? And you answer, sir, actually I feel I'm very creative and my creative side would be really useful when it comes to marketing. Hey guys, welcome back to the Marketing Empress. I am so glad to have you back here because as promised, we have reached our first milestone of 130 subscribers, and hence I'm back with the next video in the series of interview questions. Of course, I had told you the topic for this particular video in the first video itself, which is how to answer Tell Me About Yourself. If you have not seen that video, I will link it at the top so you guys can have a look at it. So currently we are at 132 subscribers while I'm shooting this video. I just wanted to point out that I'm really happy and glad that you guys helped me reach this particular milestone, and I am here with the next video in this series. But before we jump into the content of this particular video, let me set the next milestone for the video that's coming up next. And I am expecting a total subscriber count of 150 when I release the third video in this series. And like the last time, I will also be telling you guys the topic for the next video in this particular video itself. And the topic for the next video is, what are your salary expectations? Now, as always, this particular video or this particular question, will be generic in nature but still has certain marketing nuances. Alright. So if you guys are interested in that video, ensure that you share this particular video with as many people as possible and help me reach that 150 subscriber mark. So without further ado, let's jump into the content of this video.
In this video, we will aim to cover the following points. Number 1. Who is more likely to come across this question of why marketing in the interview? What is the reason behind asking this particular question? What are the top points that you need to include in your answer to why marketing? And lastly, we look at the perfect outline to answer this question. So let's get started with the first point. Who is more likely to come across this question in the interview?
Now, for the ease of understanding this particular video and the content of this video, I would like to divide the candidate pool into two categories. Okay, the first category is that of people who have some amount of marketing background. Now, I am not referring to just marketing experience. Marketing background can be with respect to your education as well. So, for example, I have done my graduation in advertising. Okay, so that has a clear link to marketing. Alright. The second category people are those people who have absolutely no background in marketing but are interested in getting into marketing. Okay, so you may have pursued your engineering, you may be a CA or anyone, but you're interested in marketing now. You are pursuing your MBA, you want to get that switch. Alright, so in all likelihood, this particular question of why marketing is more so asked to the candidates in the second category. Because of course, it becomes a lot more difficult for the second category people to establish a direct link with why they are interested in marketing. So do not worry, this particular video will cater to both these categories and the way both of these categories should go about answering this question.
Now let's look at the reason behind asking this question.
Now, there might be multiple reasons as to why this particular question is asked in an interview, and while I may not be able to list down all the possible reasons, because at the end of the day, it all depends on the interviewer, right? So this particular answer or this particular question can be very subjective in nature. Alright, but in general, in most of the cases, this particular question is asked to just understand how strongly you feel about marketing. Okay, so let me try to explain this in basic terms. You may be just randomly interested in marketing because you think, it's something different than what you've done in your past and it sometimes excites you. If this is a situation, if you don't feel as strongly about marketing, the interviewer here is going to be at a disadvantage, right? Because he or she may hire you and then eventually realize that you're not that interested in marketing. Now, if that happens, then the interviewer is at a loss. In general, there are three main reasons to ask this question. First, to understand exactly why do you like marketing, and if there are certain points that you mention in this particular answer, if those points are in sync with the role that is being offered. Next, how well can you fit yourself in the marketing domain? What is your background like? How are you like as a person? So your personality also comes into the picture here. The third and the most important reason behind asking this question is to understand whether you're honest or not. Okay, so for example, you go ahead and in the interview, because you need to impress the interviewer to such an extent, you go ahead and tell them that, you know what, I have always been passionate about marketing, I've done this, that, and whatever. And you have this long list of things that you possibly made up and is not true. Okay, now if you go overboard with something like this, the interviewer is bound to know that you're not being honest or true to yourself. If this happens, trust me guys, the interview ends right there and there is no going back.
Now let's look at crafting the perfect answer. Ensure that you cover these main points while answering this particular question. Number 1. Link it to your personality.
Now again, linking back to personality can be divided into two categories, what I've mentioned earlier. Let's look at the first category, which is people with experience, alright, with some amount of background in marketing. Now this one is an easy crack. Okay, what you need to do here is that you are going to try and relate your liking of marketing to a subject that you've learned in college. So for example, if you've studied advertising, okay, you can always come up and tell them that while I was studying advertising, I really like the subject of, say, consumer behavior, alright, and it just excited me and I was very intrigued to be a part of the marketing domain. If you have work experience in marketing, the way you can always put it out is that my learnings with respect to my previous marketing job ensured that I needed to get in deeper and understand the domain much more, and hence I'm interested in this job role on offer. Alright. Now coming to the second category of people who have absolutely no relation or no link to the previous marketing experience or background. Now for you guys, it's going to be a little difficult to directly establish a link with marketing. But you can easily do this by linking certain things to your personality. What I mean to say is that you can always come up with something like, as a kid, I was always intrigued by the way things happen. And I would always question as to why certain things happen the way they do. Alright. Now that's a crucial element of marketing. Okay. Are you understanding the way I'm trying to explain this? So you're linking that, that habit of yours of questioning everything to marketing.
Number 2. Link it to how innovation is unique to marketing and why you love it.
Now remember that marketing is possibly the only domain that lets you innovate and experiment with things. Unlike finance, HR, operations, or any other sector or domain, they will have set number of rules that you need to follow. But when it comes to marketing, there are different things to explore every single time, alright? Be it a new campaign launch, be it a new product launch, a new market research study, anything around marketing is always going to be around innovation and experiments, right? And depending on your sector, you get to experiment a lot more.
Number 3. It's the only field where there is a constant demand.
Take the example of COVID-19. While the world struggled to come to pace and the economy in general also suffered or struggled, there was this one department whose needs actually doubled, and that was the department of marketing. Alright, so ensure that you point this out, especially if your interview is just around the corner, when we are just close to, we are not even in the start phase of COVID, it's not even in the middle. I'm hoping it's towards the end of COVID-19. And hence, this particular point is going to give you brownie points. You need to come up with an answer that is going to be something on the lines of, while the world is burning, marketing is still alive and marketing is still surviving. In a situation like that, I would really like to be a part of a domain which the need for which never goes out of the picture.
Number 4. It's the field with a psychological connect.
Now this one is most important and possibly one of the biggest reasons why I love marketing so much. The psychological connect when it comes to marketing is pretty evident. You are trying to understand how consumers behave, currently with respect to your brand, and then you also look at ways to influence those consumers to buy into your product. Now remember that there might be a counter question to this particular answer that you're giving, and you should possibly be prepared for that. The question can be around something like, is it ethical to influence consumers, and to what extent can we actually influence consumers?
Lastly, it's an ever evolving field that will ensure your growth.
Now, this particular point will ensure that your profile is highlighted. And why I say this is because when you say that marketing as a field is ever growing or ever evolving and you want to be a part of something like that, it shows that you're professionally very much invested in your career and you're very much interested in growing as an individual. Alright, and hence you want to be a part of a domain or a sector that is growing as well. So this is something you should definitely include in your answer because it has a very good and very strong connection.
Now let's look at the perfect outline to answer this question.
Now let's look at the perfect outline to answer this particular question. And as always, I will be linking the article link in the description box below, which is on the Marketing Empress blog, the website. You guys can check out the outline. And just a disclaimer, of course, the outline is a little generic in nature because it's going to take into account both the people with background and people without any background. But I've tried to incorporate the gist of it, and I highly recommend you guys to go ahead and look at the outline and then prepare your answer for this particular question. It's an important question, guys. The more prepared you are, the better you can crack this particular question in an interview. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something out of it. If you did, please make sure that you leave some valuable comments for me to go through and be motivated to make the next video. Of course, before you leave, ensure that you like, share and subscribe to the channel by hitting the bell notification icon, and ensure that you're getting others with you to subscribe to the channel because the next video in this series would be released when we reach a total of 150 subscribers. Until next time, bye-bye.